It's July 1st, 2022, and my team prides itself in being your market expert. So today, just as every month, we bring you the market stats. I'm going to share with you the numbers for month end of June 30th, and stay to the end of this video as I'm going to give you some specific recommendations for how to stay competitive in this shifting market. I'm Ruth Squires with eXp Realty, RES Luxury Group, bringing you white glove service, red carpet treatment, because we believe everyone deserves a luxury experience. So our market stats for June 30th, there's some interesting changes. We are in a shifting market. And in case you're curious, what does that really mean that we're in a shifting market? Real estate is cyclical. So we go through cycles, and we have been in a seller's market cycle for a number of years. And so we are shifting into a buyer's market. So the impacts of that, we'll talk about the numbers we're going to be watching closely and how that affects you, whether you're on the buy or sell side, and what we'll be seeing as we navigate further and further into that shift. So first I want to talk about the changes in our stats. So from May 31st of 2022 to June 30th, our inventory levels have gone up significantly. We were 450 active homes for Citrus County as of May 31st. June 30th, we landed at 631 active homes for sale. That's a big increase. So the leading categories that influenced that increase the most were the price points between $250 and $450. Those price categories almost doubled in every category as far as inventory goes, which is interesting because that's a pretty sweet spot for our area, meaning that there's a lot more buyers active in those price points than in our highest price points. The below 250, I think, not as impacted simply because our median price for Citrus County as of June 30th is $250,000. So we're starting at our median and kind of going up about 200,000, and that's the categories that have had the biggest impact. Beyond that, we still have really good days on market. We're still looking at under a month on the market. But the other thing that, of course, correlates with the higher inventory levels is our months of supply. So last month we were under 1 month of overall inventory. This month we're at 1.2 months of supply. So I also wanted to look at communities, some of our larger communities that we think of in the area. So I looked at Pine Ridge, Citrus Hills, Terra Vista, and Black Diamond to see how their inventory levels are all correlating with this overall report. So in Pine Ridge, there's 25 active homes on the market, 17 selling per month currently, so 1.5 months of inventory for Pine Ridge. Terra Vista, 31 active homes on the market, 15 selling per month, so just slightly over 2 months of inventory in Terra Vista. Black Diamond, we have 9 active homes on the market, 5 selling per month, so just under 2 months of inventory. And then finally, for all of Citrus Hills, 34 active homes for sale, 34 selling per month, ironically, so 1 month of inventory. So those are the numbers. They all jive within the same range that we're looking at over the June 30th being at 1.2 and the communities being between 1 and 2 months of inventory. Why is this all so important? Well, if you're selling, you really got to stay on top of how the market is shifting so that you can make sure you're positioned well for the market. I'm going to talk more about that at the end, but I also want to talk about we've just gone through the pandemic. We're still getting past or getting through the pandemic. And so when we look at comparisons, if we look at year over year, it's not as significant because this time last year we were in the midst of the depressed inventory levels due to the pandemic and all of the uncertainty. If we go back to June 30th of 2020, yes, we were still in the pandemic. However, the impact of that hadn't hit us quite as hard yet since it was just starting. So June 30th of 2020, we had 731 active homes on the market as compared to 631 June 30th, 2022. So you can see we're really kind of getting back closer and closer to somewhat of a normalcy for our market. And that's going to provide a lot more opportunity for buyers, a lot more advantage as far as being able to get the different types of financing accepted by sellers, as well as probably some seller concessions again. And it will, I think, be helpful with some of the challenges that we have with things like roofs that are beyond all of our control. We all hate these situations that are going on with that, but we have to deal with them. So if you're in the market buying, my team loves to use strategies and think outside of the box. Call us. We'd love to talk to you about how we can help you navigate this market, and we're going to stay on top of it. Remember that if you go to our website, resluxurygroup.com, and choose the resources in the drop down, you're able to look at all of the market stats, and you can go back a couple of years if you really want to dig in and see how these numbers correlate with one another year over year. So as far as strategy, again, like I said, we're in a shifting market, and we have to be very careful how we are positioned on the market. If you are selling your home, you need to be looking at it very closely to see where do you align. One of the things that the general perception is going to be is that the housing prices are decreasing. Really what's going to be happening is prices are going to be stabilizing. We can't sustain the 20 to 40% price appreciations that we've seen over the last couple of years. And that's going to stabilize. It will appear that prices are dropping, but that'll be because sellers are having to adjust. So that goes back to the recommendation about positioning. You do not want to be chasing the market. You want to be ahead of the market. So when we're in a shift like this, you have to be continuously pivoting your position. So previously, we could list a move-in ready home at the top of the market, and the home would sell, get a good price, even potentially a bidding war, and bid up above. Now we need to look at that and say we need to be competitive. So we look at the range of properties that are in competition, and we want to be somewhere in the middle sector of that range. So that's going to mean we're going to have more and more conversations about price improvements. We're going to need to be repositioning our exposure to the market, and just really making sure that we are standing out as front runners for the buyers that are out there looking. So that's my tip and my market stats for month end June 30th. If you have any questions at all for us, please give us a call, 352-794-1426. Have a great day.